Hello students, today we are going to start up with the last chapter of your syllabus, one of the last act in your syllabus, which is your Industrial Disputes Act 1947. The object of the act is to provide for investigation and settlement of industrial disputes. It also helps in creating efficient statutory machinery for settlement of industrial disputes, thereby promoting industrial harmony. In addition, the objectives are to secure and procure smooth relations between employer and employee, inquiry into the disputes, promoting settlement of industrial disputes, to protect workmen against victimization by the employees, referring disputes to grievance settling authorities. This act extends to the whole of India, including the state of Jammu and Kashmir. It came into force on the first day of April 1947. The act has been amended many times. It is a progressive piece of legislation to suit the modern industrial setup and settle the disputes by setting up judicial machinery and thereby marching towards the goal of maintaining cordial and peaceful atmosphere between employees and employers. Industry. It means any systematic activity carried on by cooperation between employer and his workmen, including workers, for the production, supply, and distribution of goods or services with a view to satisfy human wants, whether or not any capital has been invested. Such activity carried on with an intention to make profit, any activity relating to promotion of sales or business. It does not include agricultural operation, hospital, education, research center, etc. Industrial dispute. It means any dispute or difference between employees and employers, or difference between employee which is connected with employment or non-employment, the terms of the employment, or with the condition of labor of any person. Workman. Workman means any person employed in any industry to do any manual, skilled, technical, operational, clerical, or supervisory work for hire or rewards, whether terms of the employment are expressed or implied for the purpose of any processing regarding discharge, dismiss, retirement, which are as a consequence of the dispute. Wages. All remuneration capable of being expressed in terms of money which could be payable to a workman in respect to his employment and includes allowances such as your dearness allowance, as the workman is for the time being entitled to, value of accommodation, supply of light, water, medical assistance or other amenities, any construction, food grain supplied, any travelling concession, any commission given for sales promotion. It does not include any bonus, contribution paid by the employee for pension or provident fund, if any. Settlement of industrial disputes or modes of settlement of industrial disputes, or you can say the authorities for the settlement of industrial disputes. We have three main categories: voluntary settlement and reconciliation, which are authorities under the act; adjudication with the help of the court; arbitration with the help of third parties. The adjudication of industrial disputes has at the first instant been kept out of the jurisdiction of the courts, so that efforts may be made for settlement of such disputes through some other agencies. The Works Committee, Conciliation Officer, Board of Conciliation and Courts of Inquiry endeavour to settle the difference before it may be adjudicated upon the Labour Court or the Industrial Tribunal. Section 10A of the Act makes provision for voluntary references of disputes to arbitration. First, voluntary settlement in conciliation or authorities under the Act. Number 1 is the Works Committee. Work Committee is constituted by employer where more than 100 workers are employed. It consists of representatives of employer and employee. It promotes measures for recurring and preserving amity and good relations between employer and employer, or they will discuss about day-to-day matters regarding safety and protection, working conditions, problems during working, etc., to get quick redress. Conciliation officers. The Industrial Dispute Act 1947 under its section 4 provides for the appropriate government to appoint such number of persons as it thinks fit to be conciliation officers. Here the appropriate government means one in whose jurisdiction the disputes fall. While the commissioner or additional commissioner or deputy commissioner is appointed as conciliation officer for undertakings employing 20 or more persons, at the state level, officers from Central Labour Commission Office are appointed as conciliation officers in the case of central government. The conciliation officer enjoys the powers of a civil court. He is expected to give judgment within 14 days of the commencement of the conciliation proceedings. The judgment given by him is binding on the parties to the dispute. Duties of conciliation officer: to mediate and promote settlement of industrial disputes, hold conciliation proceedings, investigate existing and apprehended industrial dispute, in case of settlement forwarded to the government, in case of failure of conciliation, full report within 14 days to the government. Power of conciliation officer: conciliation officer has got the power to enforce, issue warrant, attendance, enter the premises for inquiry, compile, ask for production of documents. Board of Conciliation: in case the conciliation officer fails to resolve the dispute between the disputants under the section 5 of Industrial Dispute Act 1947, the appropriate government can appoint a board of conciliation. Thus, the Board of Conciliation is not a permanent institution like the constitution officers. It is an ad hoc body consisting of a chairman and 2 or 4 other members nominated in equal numbers by the parties to the dispute. The board enjoys the power of civil court. The board admits dispute only referred to it by the government. It follows the same conciliation proceedings as is followed by the conciliation officer. The board is expected to give its judgment within 2 months of the date on which the dispute was referred to it. In India, appointment of the Board of Conciliation is rare for the settlement of disputes. In practice, settling disputes through a conciliation officer is more common and flexible. The duties of the board are to bring settlement, and the board should submit a report within 2 months. Court of Inquiry: the government appoints a court through gazette. The inquiry officer can be assisted by the independent person as fixed by the government. Next part is your adjudication with the help of courts. The first one is the Labour Court. Under Section 7 of the Industrial Dispute Act 1947, the appropriate government, by notifying in the official gazette, may constitute Labour Court for adjudication of the industrial disputes. The Labour Court consists of one independent person who is the presiding officer or who has been judge of a high court or has been a district judge or additional district judge for not less than 3 years, or has been a presiding officer of a labour court for not less than 5 years. The Labour Court deals with the matters specified in the second schedule of the Industrial Disputes Act 1947. These relate to the property or legality of an employer to pass an order under the standing orders, the application and interpretation of standing orders, discharge or dismissal of workers, including reinstatement or grant of relief to workmen wrongfully dismissed, withdrawal of any statutory concession or privilege, illegality or otherwise of a strike or lockout, all matters other than those reserved for industrial tribunals. Industrial Tribunal. Under Section 7A of the Act, the appropriate government may constitute one or more industrial tribunals for the adjudication of industrial disputes. Compared to Labour Court, industrial tribunals have a wider jurisdiction. An industrial tribunal is also constituted for a limited period for a particular dispute on an ad hoc basis. The matters that come within the jurisdiction of an industrial tribunal include the following: wages, including the period and mode of payment, compensatory and other allowances, hours of work and rest period, leave with wages and holidays, bonus, profit sharing, provident fund and gratuity, classification by grades, rule of discipline, rationalization, retrenchment of employees and closure of an establishment or undertaking, any other matter that can be prescribed. National Tribunal. This is the third one-man adjudicatory body appointed by the central government by notification in the official gazette for adjudication of industrial disputes of national importance. The central government may, if it thinks fit, appoint 2 persons as assessors to advise the national tribunal. When a national tribunal has been referred to, no labour court or industrial tribunal shall have any jurisdiction to adjudicate upon such matters. References of dispute to grievance settlement authorities. The Industrial Disputes Amendment Act 1982 has inserted a new chapter in the Act for setting up of grievance settlement authorities and reference of individual disputes to such authorities. It is mandatory for an industrial establishment employing 50 or more workmen to set up a time-bound grievance settlement authority for the settlement of industrial disputes connected with an individual workman employed in the establishment. Reference of disputes to boards, courts or tribunals. Section 10 empowers that appropriate government to refer an industrial dispute at any time which may be either existing or apprehended for settlement to a board or for inquiry to a court of inquiry or for an adjudication to a labour court, tribunal or national tribunal. Third one is arbitration, which is with the help of third parties. Arbitration is a process in which the conflicting parties agree to refer their disputes to a neutral third party known as the arbitrator. Arbitration differs from conciliation in the sense that in arbitration the arbitrator gives his judgment on a dispute, while in conciliation the conciliator disputing parties to reach at a decision. The arbitrator does not enjoy any judicial powers. The arbitrator listens to the viewpoints of the conflicting parties and then gives his decision, which is binding on all the parties. The judgment on the dispute is sent to the government. The government publishes the judgment within 30 days of its submission, and the same becomes enforceable after 30 days of its publication. In India, there are 2 types of arbitration: voluntary and compulsory. Voluntary arbitration. In voluntary arbitration, both the conflicting parties appoint a neutral third party as arbitrator. The arbitrator acts only when the dispute is referred to him or her. With a view to promote voluntary arbitration, the Government of India has constituted a tripartite National Arbitration Promotion Board in July 1987, consisting of representatives of employees, trade employees and the government. However, the voluntary arbitration could not be successful because the judgment given by it are not binding upon the disputants. Yes, moral binding is exception to it. Compulsory arbitration. In compulsory arbitration, the government can force the disputing parties to go for compulsory arbitration. In other form, both the disputing parties can request the government to refer their dispute for an arbitration. The judgment given by the arbitrator is binding on the parties of dispute. Thank you students for patiently listening.